Coming to you live at the GAMA Trade Show at the Peppermill Resort and Casino in Reno, Nevada, Twist Gaming! Now take it away, Matt.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. This is Twist Gaming. I'm Matt, and we are coming to you live here from GAMA 2019 with all the board game coverage all week long. And today we are kicking off the coverage here with Rob from White Wizard Games. Rob,
hey.
How you doing?
Good, good.
First and foremost, big shout out and thank you to White Wizard Games for sponsoring this stream and all of the week's streams here at GAMA. So, much appreciated.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I know that we've been talking about Sorcerer. So is that what we're showing off?
Yeah.
Today?
So this is Sorcerer. It's been long awaited, and we now have final copies from the factory. These were airshipped to us. The rest of them are arriving in ports around the world, and we're getting ready to ship them out to Kickstarter backers. And it's going to be available in stores this June. So we are super excited about the game. It's beautiful, lots of fun. So I can't wait to get you guys going.
Sounds good. So what kind of game is Sorcerer?
So Sorcerer is a meld between a strategy card game and a tactical board game.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning of the game, you build a sorcerer, and in that process, you create a deck. And we've made it really simple to do. So basically, there are 3 different deck types. There are character decks, which have a character card and 10 cards, and we have lineage decks, which have 20 cards and a cover card, and then we have domain decks, which have 10 cards and a cover card. And when in the selection process, each player chooses one of the 4 characters, one of the 4 lineages, and one of the 4 domains. Or you can also randomize, get a random character, random lineage, random domain. And then you take those cover cards, you set them next to you. That gives you your character name. So in that case, we were Tegu, the demonologist of the Haunted Forest.
Ooh.
And each of those cover cards gives you a different special ability you can use during the game. And then you take the rest of the cards and you shuffle them up, and that's your deck for the game. So basically, that quick little selection process at the beginning of the game gives you a custom deck for that game, and every time you play, your deck will be different because you'll have a different combination of character, lineage, and domain decks that you mix together.
Very
and
cool.
You'll have different special abilities you get to use during the game because of those. And then during the game, there are these 3 battlefields which represent different parts of Victorian London. And during the game, you'll be playing minion cards. Minions have offense and defense, and they will be played in one of the 3. Each time you play one, you'll play them in one of the 3 different battlefields, and that's where that minion will be using any of its abilities, and that's where that minion will be fighting and dealing damage. And during the game, you'll be able to do various things with your actions: draw cards, play cards, gain energy, or move your minions around that you've played on the board. And then when you go on to the battle portion of the game, you'll be rolling dice to determine how much damage your minions are dealing in combat. So you've got this tactical board game element where you've got units that have various amounts of health that roll various amounts of dice when they're fighting. You've got the ability to modify those dice rolls with resources that you've been collecting throughout the game. So it has this kind of a tactical war game feel. And at the same time, you've got that strategy card game feel with those
deck elements.
And there's really cool synergies that go together with those various deck elements. So it's a really cool meld of those sort of 2 genres of games.
Very cool. And I got to say, the artwork is really beautiful on the game itself. I love the way that the cards look. The graphic design as well as the artwork is
they're
gorgeous.
really, really beautiful. We've got an amazing team of artists. This game was designed, and the world of this game, which is really rich and has so much flavor behind it. It was all done by Peter Schultz. He's a really talented game designer and artist. Some of the art in the game he did himself, and there's also a big team of artists working on it. But yeah, the elements are just gorgeous, really beautiful artwork, and really rich colors in the game, and the components are really nice as well.
All right. So, is there anything else you want to tell us before we kind of just jump into this here?
No, we can get you guys there. So to save time, we'll just have you be Tegu the demonologist. That'll of the haunted forest.
That sounds pretty good. So, question for you, Rob.
Yeah.
What's your favorite build to play as?
Oh boy! So they're all really exciting, and there were a lot of. In addition to these 4 that are in here of each character lineage domain, there are also expansion packs. There's some that are coming to retail. There is a bunch that were unlocked as Kickstarter stretch goals, so there are just so many combinations, and they all do different things. Tegu is one of my favorites. I go back and forth between the vampires and the necromancer as my favorite lineage in the base set, but they're all cool. They all do really neat things. And the domain. I think my favorite is the Forgotten Temple. But basically, they all do really really neat stuff. It also depends on what you're playing against. Like
right.
Your opponent's going to have all kinds of different powers you're trying to counter as well. So,
what are you feeling over there, Josh?
I kind of like this guy with a bunch of arms.
Yeah, he's actually pretty sweet. So, Arispes is an assassin, and he has a lot of different weapons that he can get and equip to his minions.
He's got enough hands
during the course of the game.
hold
And
weapons.
basically the people in the lore, the people that he's assassinated, he steals their souls and they're inside of him, and he can send them out to do his bidding.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, by the way, in this game everyone is evil. So you're playing evil sorcerers taking over the mortal world, and that's the power of the sorcerers is such that the fact that you're taking over the mortal world is sort of a forgotten conclusion. But the question is who's going to be in charge. So you are currently battling another evil sorcerer for control of Victorian London.
Who will reign supreme?
I think the guy with a bunch of arms needs to have the spider house.
The Animist?
Yeah, the Animist.
All right. And
Go with that.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the Screaming Coast is a really nice place to be from. It sounds nice, relaxing.
It's got a nice
beachside. So I think that's what I'm gonna end up doing.
Okay, no wonder he's stealing people's souls.
All right, so go ahead and put those 3
To the side.
cover cards out now. So you'll notice on your character, your lineage, and your domain cards, they each list a special ability. Your character ability, this one here.
Oh, sorry.
Your character ability costs an action. So this is something that you can do for an action. So, for example, Tegu for an action, you can exhaust his card and play a minion from your hand, paying its cost, and draw 2 cards. So basically, he can play a minion, which normally costs an action, and draw 2 cards, which normally costs an action. Once per round, he can do both at the same time, but only in the location where your character is. So you'll have your Tegu standee. You'll put it in one of the 3 battlefields, and you'll be able to use that in that location.
All right.
Your lineage has an ability as well.
So this is an ongoing
ability, and this is an ability that gets triggered when something happens. So the demonologist says whenever you play that little demon symbol, demon minion. So all your demons from your lineage deck will have that little symbol in the bottom. That's an example.
So
of the symbol.
that's an example of the symbol.
Yep. And you get to put 2 flame counters on a non-legend enemy minion. So the game comes with these little counters. So this one has flames on one side. Those are what you get for your special ability. And it has spiders on the other side. That's what he's going to get for his special ability.
Mostly green spiders. But
the green screen stuff makes it so those are a little hard to see.
Invisible spiders.
But they look cool. Trust me. And what those flame tokens do is at the end of the round, any minion with a flame token on it will take a point of damage. So basically, they just slowly burn to death from those flame counters.
Okay.
And then finally, domains have a tactic ability. That's something you can only use during the battle phase. Whenever one of your guys attacks, you get to use a tactic, and with this one, you exhaust the card to gain an omen token. I'll get into what those do in a little bit. They help you reroll dice, basically. And if it's a minion from that domain, that little skull symbol on it, that will give you a second omen token. So basically, these guys are good at getting the counters. Let them reroll battle dice.
Okay.
And we'll go over your special abilities real quick. So.
First up.
Aerospace has this ability where you can spend an action to exhaust the skill card and search your grimoire for a non-cursed attachment. So basically, there are these weapon cards that are attachments, and you can play it on one of your minions, and the cost of that attachment is reduced by 1. Pretty much all these attachments in his deck only cost 1 anyway. So basically, he can dig up a weapon, put it on one of his guys for free.
Okay, so it will reduce the cost down to 0. Then.
It will reduce the cost down by 0. So we have the cost lowered by 1 in case you have one of your other decks has a more expensive. Maybe you have an equipment that costs 3 in there. That would make it cost 2. But in his case, probably everything will just cost 1 and be reduced to 0.
Okay.
So
the Animist.
The Animist. So basically, Animist has insect powers and causes hallucinations and illusions. Basically, drives people crazy. This is represented in the game by stealing cards from your opponent, either from the top of their deck or their discard pile, or sometimes even their hand directly, and putting it underneath your guy to give your guy a +1 attack. Basically, give him an extra attack die, and you use those little spider counters to indicate how many of those bonus attack dice you have. When you play a minion once per turn, you can exhaust this card, take the top card from your opponent's deck, and give your guy one of those spiders. So basically, you take the top card from your opponent's deck, put it underneath your minion that you played, put one of the +1 counters on it, and so it'll have more offense, and you've stolen a card from your opponent's deck.
All right.
And then finally,
the Screaming Coast.
We have the Screaming Coast, and this again is all the domains have tactics, so they're used in combat. This one, you exhaust the skill card to weaken a minion. Weakening a minion means putting a point of damage on a minion, but you can't weaken something if that would kill it. So if something has more than 1 health left, it's called essence in the game. If you have more than 1 essence remaining, then you can put a damage counter on it. And so this could be used on an enemy minion in that battlefield, or you can do it to your own minion. It kind of goes into Berserker Rage. In that case, if you weaken your own minion, you put a damage on your attacking minion, then it gets +3 attack dice. So you can either use it to hurt your opponent's guy when you attack, or to hurt your own guy and give him a little Berserker bonus for the turn.
Awesome.
So those are your special abilities. Your special abilities only work in the battlefield where your Sorcerer is. Looks like we have the. I've randomly determined you're going first this game, so we have this.
So I'm shuffling these together, correct?
Yep. Oh yeah. Go ahead and shuffle your 3 decks together. Give them a good shuffle. Randomize them. We have a large fate counter in the game. This indicates the player who has initiative. That's the player who's going to take the first action during the first action during the game, and it's represented by this large fate counter. I'm going to throw that on there for a second. And so that's the fate counter that'll go on. That goes on your player board to show that you are the player going first. And then if you flip that over, it has an empty side. So during the combat phase, during the battle phase, once during the battle phase, you can force a reroll on an entire set of battle dice, either yours or your opponent's, by flipping, if you have the fate counter, by flipping it over. So the player who has the fate for the turn takes the first action, which is actually a minor disadvantage because your opponent's going to be able to react to you with their final action, but you have this reroll effect.
Okay.
So we'll throw that there. So shuffle up your decks really well, and then these little player boards work as a nicely hold all your stuff. I don't know if that'll fit
Yeah,
on
it's
there.
a little big,
but
but
you
maybe
can-
I can do something like that. There.
Yeah. Okay.
There
So
we go.
great. Here, you on this side here, you're tracking your energy, how that's used to play your cards. Over here, you're tracking your actions. So you're kind of will start up here. Every time you take an action, you move it down this track. So you take an action, they take an action, back and forth. The omen tokens that you're getting go right here. Then your fate, if you have the fate counter, it goes here. Discard pile goes down there, deck goes down there, and then down here in the center, we've got a little cheat sheet with reminders of how the stuff goes during the course of the game.
Okay.
So there's 4 of those that come with the game, one for each player. We're of course doing a 2-player game right here. So shuffle up your decks, take 6 cards starting hands.
3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
At the beginning of the game, each player gets 1 omen counter, which can be used to roll an individual battle die, and they put their they have 6 energy at the beginning of the game, and you put the action marker at the gold coin with the 6 on it at the top of the deck.
All right. So this is the grimoire.
This is your deck is your grimoire. Your discard pile is your graveyard, and the hands in your card are referred to as your hand.
All right.
The things. So we start with an action phase, and you go back and forth taking actions. Then you move on to a battle phase. A battle phase is where your minions are going to be fighting. You're going to be rolling dice and dealing damage. Now the goal of the game is to win 2 out of the 3 battlefields. When you win a battlefield by your opponent's side of the battlefield taking 12 points of damage. Once the damage has gone up to 12 on the battlefield, you flip it over and flip it over to the ruin side, the back of the battlefield. So on the primary side, there's damage tracks that go up to 12. You can get your opponent's side up to 12, and we have these little wooden cubes that that you can track the damage with. Get that up to 12, you win the battlefield, you flip it over to the ruin side, put a control marker on your side of it, and if you can control 2 of the 3 battlefields, you win the game. So that's the goal of the game. And all right, so things you can do with actions. You can channel energy, which means gain 2 energy. So you start with 6 energy. Energy you use to play your cards. To gain more of it, you just spend one of your actions to channel energy, and you move your energy track up by 2. You can also meditate to draw 2 cards from your deck. So you draw 2 cards from your grimoire, put them into your hand. So if you're low on cards, you can just draw more for an action. You can spend an action to cast a spell. When you cast a spell, you play a card from your hand, lower your energy by the cost. If it's a minion, or if it's a minion, you play at one of the 3 battlefields.
And that cost is in the upper left-hand side of the
left-hand
card.
side, yeah.
So I'm going to just show that off there. So this one has a cost of 2 to play it.
And then you can also activate a power. So a lot of things will say, like your for example, your character card says action : do something awesome. To do that awesome thing, you spend an action and you do the thing on the card. And each card's action ability can be used once per turn. And then finally, you can reinforce. And when you reinforce, you can move a minion from one battlefield to an adjacent battlefield. If the minion has wings on it, little wing icon, then it's flying, and for an action, it could move from any battlefield to any other battlefield. So instead of moving one over, it can move the 2 spaces.
Okay.
And the last thing we need to do and set up is to place your minions. So there's 3 different battlefields. So we've got the center and the 2 flanking battlefields. Frequently people will like to put a little bit extra energy into the center battlefield because it's, if you win there, it's easier to move your troops to other ones. But sometimes people want to go onto the flanking battlefields. The player with the initiative will attack first in the central battlefield, so you jump on your opponent in the center. The player without the fate counter gets to go first in the flanking.
So it's worth it for me then to go to the center then,
so
as I have an
center's a very, very reasonable spot for you, and so now. So now you have to decide where you want to place your guy. Now you could go in the same location, which will basically, it's an important battlefield because it's in the center. However, your opponent has this demon ability to put flame counters on guys that go there, etc. So maybe you want to go to one of the flanking ones.
Go over here.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer here. This is just where you're going to get some extra bonuses.
Gotcha.
Okay, so you guys have chosen your battlefields. You have initiative, so go ahead and pick one of the things that you'd like to do, so you can gain energy,
So
draw cards.
cast a spell is play a card from my hand.
Yep,
then.
yep,
So I'm
exactly.
going to go ahead and cast a spell here. I've got a ghost minion in the stray center, so that's going to cost me 2 of my energy to play that.
Yes.
And then I can play that to any of the battlefields or the one that I'm in.
If you can play it to any battlefield. If you choose to play it from the one you're in, you could use Tegu's special ability to draw 2 cards. So
You know what? I like that. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to spend the 2. I'm
all
going
right,
to
so your
use.
energy goes down from 6 down to 4.
I'm going to play it in the center here.
Yeah.
So can we go over the creature cards real quick? So I'm
Oh,
assuming
yes,
this
of
is the
course,
attack and the
Yeah,
defense?
so
The anatomy of a card.
Yeah, you can throw that over there. So basically, in the upper left-hand corner, you see the energy cost on the card. That's how much of your energy it'll cost to play it. Right below that, if it has flying, it'll have that little wing icon. It just means it's a little more mobile. It can move around. When you spend an action, it can move to any of the battlefields. Below that, many cards in the game have a little omen marker on them. That means when you play this card, you get an omen. So you simply take one of these, one of the counters from the pool, and you drop it into your central thing here, and that'll be available for letting you re-roll dice in the battle phase. Below that on the left, you'll see that little red symbol with a dagger under it. That is your offense. That's how many dice you're going to be rolling in combat.
Okay.
So this minion has an offense of 2. It's going to be rolling 2 dice, attack of 2. And then finally below that is your essence. That's how much health the thing has, how much damage it takes to kill it. So basically, when a thing takes damage, you put a damage counter on it. When this gets 2 damage counters, it's dead. And we'll go to your discard pile. If something dies before it attacks, it does not get to attack that turn.
Gotcha.
And so that's that guy. And that one had a special ability.
It sure does. So this one's ability is when played, search the top 7 cards of your grimoire, shuffle it afterwards for a minion, reveal it, and put it in your hand.
Okay, so first you're using your Tegu action.
Right, so do
that's-
I exhaust the
So you
card?
turn that card sideways. So you used it. You draw 2 cards for that.
Okay.
And then and that allowed you to play this minion.
Okay.
And by spending your 2 energy, and then his ability, his wind plate ability happens.
So search the top 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now I'm going to see which minion I want there, and then I'll show it off for you. So, that one looks pretty decent.
There you go.
I'm going to take this one here. So this is Sarangarel.
Yeah, some of the names are a little challenging to pronounce. Yeah.
So this is a 4 cost to play. It's got 4 attack, 4 defense, essentially. And then ongoing, whenever you meditate or play a sorcery, choose 1, heal 1 damage from a minion, or gain 1 omen.
Yeah, so you'll notice that guy had, before his ability, there was a pair of crossed swords. Pretty much all minion abilities have that, and that indicates that this special ability can only be used on this particular battlefield. So pretty much anything a minion does, if it gives bonuses to other troops, or it lets you heal things or whatever, it lets you do it there on that battlefield.
Okay.
So yep, that goes into your hand.
Right.
Okay, great. So that was your action. So your action counter went down from 6 to 5. Okay, so now
we're going to play the daughter of Hecate. There you go, Matt.
Okay. So, whoops. The daughter of
Hecate.
Hecate.
Okay.
And then one play, deal 2 damage to an enemy minion.
Oh, well, that's not
So
nice.
I can kill your guy.
You sure
Yep.
can.
So this goes. So in
have
order
to go
to
in.
use that, it has to go into the central battlefield. And 2 damage. We would normally throw damage counters on it, but because 2 is enough to kill it, it just goes to your discard pile. And your energy track goes down by 4 for that.
So I'm
card.
down to 2.
All right. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to channel energy. So I'm going to gain 2 energy there.
All right, 4 actions left here.
I will also channel energy.
Okay. So I'm going to play the Dread White in that center space as well then. And that is going to be, when played, you may weaken a non-legend enemy minion any number of times.
Okay, so again, weakening damages things but cannot kill it.
Right.
This guy has 2 defense, so it will do 1 damage to it.
Right.
If it had 6 defense, it would deal 5 damage to it. So basically, this guy brings an enemy to next to death.
All right.
And that cost you 3 energy?
Cost me 3.
3.
I will gather energy.
Okay. And explain to me again how the flame counters work.
Okay, so this is a demon ability. The flame counters go onto an enemy minion, and they do 2 things. One, at the end of the turn, at the end of the round, after the battle's done, after everybody's rolled their battle dice, if that minion happens to still be alive, it takes a point of damage for every flame counter on it. So it will kill stuff that lives through the battle.
Okay.
The other thing it does is a lot of the cards in the Demonologist deck will do extra stuff to things that have flame counters on it, so it kind of lights it up as a target for potential other effects that you have.
Okay.
My turn?
Yeah. What you gonna do?
Okay, so let's see. You used your 3rd action, right? So yep, down 1, 2, 3. Yep. Okay.
I should be on this.
Oh, sorry. Did I miss one action?
Did he not? What did you do as your last action?
I played that thing.
So your first action, you played one guy, then you gained energy, then you played this.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
3 actions used, and your actions
I used 3 actions, so it's Matt's turn.
it's back to me now.
I channeled energy again.
Okay, so I'm going to channel energy one more time.
Okay, bring it up to 5.
I'm going to summon the Brood Guard.
Okay,
All right.
and now there's the question of which battlefield you want to summon that. Keep in mind, if you put it into the battlefield you're in, you get to use your Animist special ability to get an extra...
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do.
All right, so when played, attach 2 random cards from an opponent's hand to your minion as Anthropod followers. Those are those +1 attack things. So basically, shuffle up your hand, and he's going to get to select 2 cards at random and steal them from your hand forever.
This one you're hiding, and this one.
Okay,
Oh.
so those
I got
cards
another right.
are going... so that served 2 effects. 1, you stole 2 cards from his hand, which is awesome. And 2, this guy got 2 +1 counters.
Okay, and then if I use this...
Yeah, and then you expend that ability, and that takes the top card from his deck and puts it underneath face down. And so now your guy has +3 attack. So he started out as 3, now he's all the way up to 6.
Okay. So, what's his defense on that one as well?
All right, that guy has 3 essence, important note: when you are in combat and you roll those battle dice, there are 3 results. You have blank sides are a miss. I don't know if you want to throw that on there while we talk about it. Blank is a miss. Then there's sides with a single skull, and that is a hit. That does 1 point of damage, which your opponent gets to assign. They can put it on the battlefield or on one of their minions there. And then there's a side with 2 skulls. That represents 2 hits. Again, your opponent will get to assign them. And then finally, there's the star, which counts as a critical hit. A critical hit, the attacking player gets to say where it goes. So let's say he had a guy who only had 1 defense left, they could put it on that guy and kill it before it could attack, or if they really want on the battlefield, they can put it on the battlefield. The attacking player decides where critical hits goes. If at the beginning of the battle phase you have minions in a battlefield and your opponent does not, then your minions there are considered unopposed, and that means that critical hits will do 2 points of damage instead of 1. So that makes up for the fact that you don't have any choices where it gets assigned. So when a guy is completely unopposed at the start of the battle, they can hit a little bit harder. Something to think about when deciding where to put your minions.
Okay. So it's back to me then?
Back to
for
you.
the last one, correct.
Let's see. So I believe you guys have 2 actions left. Is that?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to try something a little different here. I'm going to go ahead and play the Caretaker. So this is going to be all 5 of my energy then. So this one has the ability of, when played, to choose to play a non-curse attachment from your hand or graveyard with its cost lowered by 1, or weaken an enemy minion. So I'm going to play that over here.
Okay, and would you like to weaken his minion, which would do a damage to it, or would you like to take an equipment from your hand, or if you had one in your discard pile?
I'm going to put a Butcher Cleaver on him.
Oh, that'll be nasty.
And so then that's a +2/+2, and then it's going to give me a tactic ability of you may discard a card to choose weaken a minion or draw a card.
Right.
So I'm still could weaken him.
Yeah, so basically, so now this guy is very powerful. He's a 7/6. So basically, so your attack value can never go beyond 7. If it gets higher than 7, you'll still only roll 7 dice. The only advantage for being higher than 7 is if your opponent gives you minuses to attack. If your attack was an 8 and they give you a -1, you're still at 7. So.
Okay.
I'm gonna gather energy.
Okay, I don't know if we were on the last.
I think that was supposed to be the last one, I believe.
You should have gone to here. So he still has 1 left, right?
I thought that was my last one.
We can. So let's,
I was right.
he was tracking along. So okay, no problem.
Yeah.
One
so
more to
then
go.
You have.
I have
Do
one
you have
more
a final
action.
action? Probably gain some energy or
Yeah.
draw some cards.
I'm going to go ahead and gain some energy then.
Okay, great. Up to 2 energy.
I'm gonna play this guy, Thulosian Har. If I pronounce that right.
Thessalonian Horror. Okay. That's when destroyed, return this minion to your hand. Then you may discard a minion from your hand to weaken a minion. And he's a 3/1. So he is fodder, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And which battlefield would you like to put him in?
Just gonna go here.
All right. Great. So, and that was your final action.
Yep.
Okay. So now the battle is so the action phase is complete. We're moving on to the battle phase for the round.
Okay.
So from the perspective of the player who has the fate counter, so this side of the table, we start on the battlefield on the left. So starting here in Whitechapel, you get to pick one of your minions in that location and attack. Then your opponent will get to attack. Then you get to attack, and your opponent gets to attack back and forth. Obviously, here you only have 1 minion, so you get to attack, and then he'll make separate attacks with his 2 remaining minions. So you turn this guy sideways. Mm-hmm. Any tactics that you have available in this battlefield, so in this case the Butcher Cleaver on this guy, you get to use on this time. So this gives you 2 options. You can either discard a card. You can discard a card to either weaken a minion or to draw a card. So if you're not happy with one of the cards in your hand, you can turn it into either the next card off the top of your deck, or you can do 1 damage to an enemy.
I think I like that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to discard a card, and then I'm going to weaken his spider dude.
All right, so this guy takes a point of damage. So only 2 left to kill him. All right, so now you have an offense of 7. Oh, and I told you guys about that little omen thing at the beginning of the game, but forgot to actually give you guys omens. So you got 2, 1 from that and 1 from that. And looks like you've got 1 over here. So you get an omen at the beginning of each turn and 1 for each of those cards, which has an omen marker on it. Those will let you re-roll individual dice, and remember you have the fate counter, which lets you roll an entire set of up to 7 dice over again.
All right, so I'm rolling on him now.
Okay, so here we have 2 misses, 2 critical hits, and 4 points of damage. Now, both players have to pass in order for the damage to be assigned. So if you're happy with the roll, which you probably are because you've got 2 critical hits, enough to kill his minion before he could attack, so that's pretty exciting. So if you're happy with the roll, then you pass. If you're not happy with it, you can use your omens to re-roll individual dice. So for example, you could use an omen to re-roll that miss, or you could use your fate counter to re-roll the entire set. But since you're happy,
I'm pretty happy with
then
that.
you would pass. Now it's your opportunity to
Make him reroll.
Make him reroll. So, for example, you
I
could
don't
make
want
him
those
reroll.
both crits, so,
Yeah, so-
he's gonna reroll one of those.
All right, so 1 omen token spent. You pick up the 1 critical hit die and reroll. Obviously, maybe get a crit again. No, not a crit,
damage.
but some nice damage. So, do you want to modify his roll anymore?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Do you want to modify the roll, or are you happy with your...
I think I'm happy
tarnish?
with that.
Okay, great. So one critical hit. You can assign that anywhere you want. So for example, you could kill this minion before it attacked. It would get to use its ability, but might be nicer than it rolling dice.
Right.
You could assign it to battlefield, or you could do another damage to that big spider. Anywhere you want to go, and then once you've done that, he gets to assign the remaining 6 damage wherever he wants in any combination that adds up to 6.
You know, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assign it to his spider there.
Big guy?
Yeah.
All right, big guy takes another point. Only one more to kill it. All right, now there's 6 damage remaining.
Okay.
You can assign any amount of it to the battlefield. So, for example, you could be like, all right, I'll take all 6 to the battlefield.
All right.
You could assign it to your guys, but your guys are pretty low in health right now. 1 point of damage would kill either of them.
And he's not going to attack this location again. It's just the one.
This round,
For
he
this
only
round.
had that one attack.
All right, so
Exactly.
I'll take the 6 damage to the location,
All right.
so I can beat him up.
Okay, so all right, great. So that was your attacker. So now
All right,
pick one of
so
your guys.
I'll pick this guy. So he's got 3 attack.
Yep. right.
3 damage.
So do you want to modify the roll? at
I'm
all?
happy.
Okay. And
So that's 3 damage. I've got 6 defense on him. I think I'm
yeah,
okay
and
with it.
and you can also take damage on the battlefield. So you could be like, you could take all 3 here. You could take 2 there, 1 there.
Right.
Any combination you want to do.
I'll take that. That's fine.
Okay.
Where are you
So
taking?
you get to assign the damage.
I'll put it all on my guy.
Oh,
on your
big
guy?
guy takes 3. Battlefield unaffected.
And then since he doesn't have another minion, it's my turn to attack again.
That's correct.
All right, so I have, what is this? 3 plus.
And
Like,
3 plus 1 for each of those green.
so 6.
Spider
Yeah.
counters. So you got 6 dice.
All right.
Oops, sorry, I think I gave you one too many there. Yep.
That's
Okay.
fine.
And this damage is permanent. It'll stay on the guys until something happens. To either the guy dies or maybe you have some healing effect in your hand. All right, so here we have 2 misses, 2 hits, 2 critical hits. So the critical hits you'll assign where they
Okay.
go. Are you
Happy
happy?
with it? Yeah, I'm happy with that.
I'm going to go ahead and he's going to re-roll one of those criticals there.
Okay.
Double. Ah, it's a
Oh,
block.
very effective. Down to a miss.
You know, go ahead and re-roll that last critical there. Ah, okay.
So you get to decide where all the damage goes.
That's fine. Okay, I'm going to take 1 more on big guy, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the remaining 3 damage to the city.
All right, so
The location.
Yep, 3 damage on location. All right, so now that
Location is done.
that completes that location. Now we move on to the second location.
Mm-hmm. All right, so who's up first then?
Your
So
guy.
My guy first?
Oh,
Okay.
actually, I'm sorry. So many new things for you guys because we forgot to. I forgot to remind you about your tactic.
I couldn't really use it.
I
I could have weakened him.
Yeah, so basically what that would have meant, so basically when he attacks with one of his guys, he can weaken a minion in the battlefield. He would have not weakened his because he couldn't, so he would have weakened yours for 1 point of damage, so you'd end up having chosen 1 more of those points to go
Yes.
on to the
Okay.
battlefield. So, all right, moving on to the central battlefield here.
All right,
So you go first here.
And so I could use my tactic now then, and that's you may exhaust the
Absolutely.
skill card to gain an omen, and since the attacking minion is the skull symbol, it's going to gain me another omen, so I
Yeah.
gain 2 omens from that.
And again, your domain tactic you can only use in the location where your avatar is. So that's why you're able to use that here, and he was able to use his in that first battlefield.
All right. Oh, that's ugly.
Well, you do have both. You have the fate, which you could flip over to reroll the entire set, and this you're losing this no matter what.
I might as well use it.
So you could either use it now, or you could save it for his attack. But this seems like a good
I
roll to
think
use now.
so. Let's flip
All right,
that over.
you have to reroll every die when you use that. So even hit has to be rolled. Okay,
Slightly
so-
better. 1 critical, 1 damage, and then a blank. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take one of my omen tokens. I'm going to re-roll that blank die.
Okay.
And another blank. Okay. I'll
So
live with it.
if assuming you're happy with this, you pass along. So he's got a critical and a regular, and keep in mind that
I'm gonna
critical
make
could
him
kill
roll
off your
that
guy.
I'm gonna make him reroll that critical.
Okay. There you go.
Oh,
Can't do anything.
All right, now do you want to modify the roll at all, or are you happy with this?
So right now, his character is going to...
You could kill his
die.
guy before he
Yeah.
attacks, which is great.
Right.
If you want to get a little greedy, you could re-roll the miss, or you could save these omen tokens for next round when you might need it more. Totally up to you.
I'm okay with the way it is right now.
Okay, great. So you get to assign the critical. You can either put it on the
Critical's
battlefield or kill off his guy.
Going right to him.
All right. Unfortunately, he died before you get to attack with him. And then the remaining point only choice is to put it on the battlefield. Okay, so that is round one. Now, start a round. The fate counter refills and goes to the other player.
Okay.
And everything that was exhausted prepares. So everything goes face up again. And your actions reset to 6, and the player who receives the fate counter decides whether both players gain 4 energy or
Okay.
whether you roll the 8-sided die and both players gain that amount of energy. So you can either get a random amount of energy for both players or exactly 4.
I'm going to take the 4.
I thought you were going to go for the random.
All right.
I have cards in my hand I want to play, and 4 energy makes that work.
But you could get 8 energy.
Good. Or you can get 2 and not be able to play the card I want.
All right, great. So, you have first action, and
So
we're back at 6.
These are attachments, right?
Oh, and one more thing. Beginning of the round, you can, for free, move your avatar. So if you would prefer to be in a different location for using your special abilities, you can move your avatar. That starts with you, so you decide first. Do you want to
Okay.
stay where you are or move to a different location with your avatar?
I guess stay where I'm at.
Okay, and then you get to decide, do you want to stay here? Do you want to move over there?
I'm going to move over there. Or
Or over here, anywhere you want to be.
I'm going to move over to that location there.
All
I know
right.
I'm picking on it a little bit, but that's fine.
All right, great. All right, so now you guys are in your locations, and now it's time for your first action. What would you like to... So you can gain energy, draw cards, cast a
I'm
spell.
going to play Queen's Gambit.
Queen's Gambit, okay.
So Queen's Gambit, what's that? And that is destroy any number of attachments on your minions in a single battlefield. Pick an opponent to distribute that much damage among their minions in that battlefield.
Okay, so those cards he stole and those anthropod followers, those are attachments. They're attached to his guy, so he can get rid of. He's got, I believe, 3 of them.
I got 3 of them.
Each one he gets rid of, he loses one of those spiders, so he'll have less attack. But that will force you to distribute damage. And your guy has 4, so if you get rid of 2 of them, you can make him do. You can make him
I'm
kill
going
his
to do
guy.
all 3 damage.
So
So
it
he
only
could-
does minions in his battlefield, right?
Right, it
Or
won't
only
do
does
the-
Oh,
minions.
so yeah, just 2.
Just
Yep.
2. Okay.
And now you'll lose 2 spider counters because you lost those 2 attachments.
Okay, that's fine.
Great. And
And,
unfortunately, that will
Oh, man.
kill your awesome guy.
I couldn't let him live.
But the good news is he's down a lot of energy.
Okay.
And does that give you an omen? No, it does not.
It does not.
Oh, and you did each get an omen at the start of the turn. So I'll
Okay.
go ahead and throw those on your boards.
All right, so then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play Sorcerer L over here, and that's going to cost me 4.
Okay. Would you like to use Tegu's ability to draw 2
I
cards?
sure would. So I'm going to go ahead and draw 2, and I'm a happy camper. And Josh, it's back to you.
All right, I'm going to use my action to find in a... Do I want to do that?
You know, that we could probably add some defense to your weakened spider there.
Yeah.
Could be useful.
Yeah, good. Let's look at that. So I'm going to find an attachment in my deck that's
So
not
an
cursed.
easy way to find an attachment is the name is printed on the side of the card. So if you just push through with your thumb there, any attachment, you'll see the name along
Okay.
the side.
So let's see what I got for attachments.
A couple potions. So it has to be a non-curse.
Non-curse.
So the curses are attachments you play on your opponent's guys. You do terrible things to them. This guy's a weapon expert, so he doesn't get those curses out of your deck for free, but he can get any other attachment. That one's a curse. Though, but lots of cool things to choose from.
Okay, that one's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna put that on the field.
All right, he's chosen a magic amulet there.
Okay, and that is tactic. You may attach a card from your hand to the attached minion as an anthropod follower if you do draw a card.
So he can. So this gives +1 offense and +3 defense. Who is it going on?
It's going on the spider.
Going on the spider. So now the spider has 6 essence with 2 damage, so 4 essence remaining, as opposed to it's only 1 before that. All right, so that does not give an omen, so and it's -1 energy, so it was free. So that's you're good to go.
Back to me now.
Back to you.
So basically, as an action, I can just put cards attached to that.
So normally an attachment card would be in your hand, and you'd pay energy and play it and attach to a guy just like anything else. But your character has a special ability to expend your character card, search through your deck for an attachment, and attach it directly to a guy.
The attachment itself says that I may.
And that's a tactic.
So
that
that's
tactic you'll use during combat. So absolutely, during combat, when that guy attacks, you can put a card from your hand on it as another +1 counter, and draw a card. So you'll be able to cycle through stuff you don't like in your hand and turn it into combat.
Awesome.
Really, really sweet ability.
So then I'm going to spend 1 of my energy, and I'm going to go ahead and play Demonic Ambition. So I'm going to go ahead and destroy that attachment that you just put out there.
All right, so I believe that was... So you were first, and you've done 2 actions. The first one was playing the... Okay, Queen's...
So you're destroying this?
Yep, you're welcome.
Oh, I hate you.
I know, it's just because I care, Josh. All right. So back to you then.
Turn. I'm gonna gain energy. It's you.
All right. I'm actually going to draw 2 cards, and because I'm meditating with the ability on that one, I'm going to draw, and I'm going to get an omen token.
Great. All right.
Okay.
That was a special ability on his card in play that he was
I'm going to spend 2 energy, and I'm going to put a Soul Shadow out.
Okay. When played, you may return a sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. And which battlefield would you like?
It's going to go on this battlefield, and I'm going to also activate this ability so I can take the top card of Matt's deck and make an attachment.
Get a spider on him. So you've taken this Tegu's card, put it under there, and you've got a spider on that guy for +1 die.
All right. I need some energy, so I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Okay. So
I also need some energy.
All right, down to 1 action for you, and
Meditator plays.
You've got 2 actions left.
All right, I'm going to...
And 3 energy available.
I'm going to have to draw 2 cards then, and so I'm going to get another Omen token.
Okay.
I am going to draw 2 cards for my last action.
All right, final action used, and then your final action.
Oh, I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I messed up there. I was hoping to get something I could play with the Sadistic Ceremony.
Well,
unfortunately,
you'll have cards for next round.
Exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play Tegu's Resolve then. So wait, he's at his maximum on both those characters for damage, correct?
So this guy has 2 health remaining. This guy has 1, and this guy has 1. So you could gain energy for next turn. You could...
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to gain some energy for next turn then.
Okay, so you are up to 5 energy. Going to be starting next turn strong.
So it's battle phase now?
Battle phase?
Now we are on to the battle phase. So this time we're on this from the starting on the battlefield on the left from the perspective over here. Empty battlefield. It's done. Then we move to the center battlefield. And
I don't have anything.
Normally you'd have initiative over here, but you have nothing, so you pass. So you've got 3 dice. You are unopposed, so if you happen to roll a critical, it will count as a double hit.
Oh, cool. I like that one.
All right, so you have 4 damage. Do you want to mess with the roll at all, or just leave it?
Just leave it.
I'm good with that one.
So damage on the battlefield goes from 1 to 5. That battlefield resolved. So now we're on to this final battlefield, and since it's a flanking battlefield, the player without the fate counter goes first. So you're going to get to attack with...
And how many dice is that one?
This guy has an offensive 4.
Okay, so 4 dice. Let's see.
And do you have any tactics you want to use?
Tactic. Is that a skull minion?
Nope.
It is not. So
But
I'm
you'll
still
still
going to
gain
do that.
one
I gain an
omen.
omen token. So I have all the rerolls. That's a good thing. And that was a horrible roll.
And it looks like you could use some.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend 1 here.
That's a big improvement.
I'll take that, and I'll spend another 1 here. There we go.
Just reroll all this.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Using the power of the fate counter.
All right.
3 damage.
I'm gonna reroll some more because I know that this is the last round we're gonna do it, so I'm gonna go for broke. I got a critical there.
Any changes?
Reroll that critical.
Oh. double. I'm going to re-roll one of my singles here.
Oh, that is really going for it.
Okay, and yeah, I'm not going to be any more greedy
Okay.
than that.
All right.
So that's
So
5 damage right there.
5 damage to assign. So
5 damage.
So you could take you can take one more on this guy if you wanted
I don't want to. I'm just going to go right up there to 11.
All right, full
Doesn't quite
11.
get it. just leave him around the edge.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to activate my tactics. I'm going to weaken my guy.
All right, so
Okay.
attacking with this guy first.
Yep.
He's weakening, so he takes a point of damage. But as in exchange for that, you're gaining +3 attack dice. So he has 2 attack dice for his stats, 1 for his
So he's a 6.
spider attachment, and then up to 6 dice out of that little guy. So we have a critical, 2 and 2 1s. So we've got 4 damage and a critical hit. Would you like to have any of those re-rolled?
You can go ahead and re-roll that critical. Oh,
It's critical still.
okay, I'll take it. That's fine.
Okay. The critical is going to go to the location.
Okay.
All right, and now there is 4 damage remaining to be assigned. You have your guy has 4 essence, and
I'll take 3 to my character, and then the 1 remaining will go to
all right,
the
up
location.
to 6 on the location.
right.
All right, next.
Is the spider, so he's going to be a 4.
So you got some damage going on there.
Oh,
only
only
one.
one.
I'm gonna have you re-roll that critical.
Oh, he's still
little
got
one.
a hit out of it.
You
Okay.
could put that to the location.
All right.
All right.
That's where that critical is going to go anyway.
Oh well.
And then last up is this guy who's a 3.
Rolling all the dice.
1 damage.
I'm fine with that. I mean, I can't do anything about it, but
All right, so 1 mayor to the battlefield. All right, so so you guys get the feel for the flow of the game. Obviously,
Absolutely.
these rounds would continue. Next round, you'd be gaining energy, and because you're all the way up at 5 energy, you would likely choose the gain 4 option, putting you at 9. If you rolled the 8-sided die, if you rolled a high enough roll, you'd have wasted energy.
it would help him out a little bit
Yes,
too much. Yeah.
Exactly. Once you conquer 2 out of the 3 battlefields, you win the game. Once a battlefield is conquered, there's no more fighting there. And the minions that are there stay there until you spend your actions to move them to other locations. So you
Okay.
can take the troops that survived a battle and move them to other battlefields to continue the fight. Awesome, guys. Thank you for playing.
Rob,
Thanks so
thank you
much,
so
Rob.
much.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. And where can
Thank
our
you.
viewers
Thank
go
you.
to find out more information about Sorcerer as well as all of the other White Wizard releases? That's a little bit of a tongue twister there.
WhiteWizardGames.com has all the info. All right,
Perfect.
and this is coming out in stores in June. If you backed it on Kickstarter, it's going to be coming out to you really soon.
Sounds good. Rob, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank all of you for watching at home. Stay tuned as we continue our coverage here throughout the day at GAMA 2019. Signing off for now, though, I'm Matt. Have a good one, everyone.
Bye.